You do and the sacrifices you make that give me the freedom to do what I love to do, which is perform for all these beautiful people. So I want to thank you guys.
All I do remember is I had to do what I was told. I was told I was fat every day. I had to go to the gym. I had to just, and I never remember feeling so demoralized and just, they made me feel like nothing. And I went along with it because I was scared. I was scared and fearful. I didn't even really do anything. I couldn't go where I wanted to go. I couldn't have the nannies that I wanted to have. I couldn't have cash. And it was just demoralizing.
There's a lot that people don't know about me that I want them to know. I never wanted to become one of those prisoner people. I always wanted to feel free and get in my car and go and not let people make me feel like I had to stay in my home.
So I was kind of like in this conspiracy thing of people claiming and like treating me like a superstar, but yet they treated me like nothing.
They're hearing what they want to hear. They're not really listening to what I'm telling them. It's like, it's bad. I'm sad.
I think the main thing I do remember when it started was my dad's control. He loved to control everything I did. I remember the first day he said, "I'm Britney Spears and I'm calling the shots."
You've had a year that would test a lot of people.
What's up, Britney? Everyone, out!
You know what? I feel weird if I say no. I feel like they're going to come back and be mean to me or punish me or something. 3 days later, after I said no to Vegas, my therapist sat me down in a room and said he had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating in rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was a false. He immediately the next day put me on lithium out of nowhere.
You know, if I really wanted to, I could still be a young woman and do something completely different and have a whole new career and still have hopefully my whole life ahead of me.
But you could say the same thing about someone like Britney Spears.
Absolutely.
There's only 3 months age difference between you and Britney.
Absolutely.
And look at the difference. Complete disaster.
Well, I mean, people handle different things differently, and thank God I've been, you know, surrounded by honesty, and thank God I've chosen to still be around people that I trust. And it's really difficult when you're a celebrity to know the difference.
But my parents never, you have to do this. But my parents never told me what I had to do.
I'm fortunate that they're so talented. My mother's a great stylist and my father's a great manager. They don't take me for granted and I don't take them for granted. They're the most important thing to me.
My heart is full. My soul is full. I'm so thankful. I'm trying not to cry. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be on the stage. I'm thankful to look out and see your faces. I'm thankful for my children. I'm thankful for my husband. My beautiful queen. I'm thankful that we all have the ability to make lemonade out of our lemons.
What it is, ho, what's up?
The rise of two of the most famous pop stars are one for the books. With each cultivating year, they have managed to become a blueprint of true superstardom in every element. The image of a perfect pop star has managed to maintain their fandom and longevity decades later. Although the ladies grew up and had different careers, their rise is relatively the same. The only true thing that separates them apart is their foundation, how one was able to stay grounded and continue to succeed all these years later, and how the other's foundation unfortunately led to their own demise. This is a tale of two pop stars, Britney and Beyoncé, and how your family will either continue to make or break you and your career. If you really look at the rise of Beyonce and Britney, it's one and the same. Both ladies had a common goal for what they saw and envisioned for themselves. As a little girl, they both performed and did pageants. Britney got a taste of the pageant life, becoming a local celebrity in her hometown of Louisiana at just 3 years old. Her mom would parade her around and invest in dance classes, allowing her to perform at local talent competitions to boost her confidence and to get her known more around Louisiana. She got her first big break doing Star Search at 10 years old, ultimately losing the competition but soon getting a position that would change her life. Beyonce was also a local celebrity competing in beauty pageants at 8 and also local talent shows. Beyonce sang in the Baby Junior category, featuring children under the age of 7 and won the 1989 Sammy Award for Female Pop Vocalists. She began taking dance classes and by age 9 she had formed her first vocal group, Girls Time. The group competed on Star Search, also losing the competition. The formation of Girls Time and Destiny's Child was the starting point that helped Beyonce develop her career as an artist. Britney being selected to be a part of the Musketeers with powerhouses Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera was really the foundation that drove Britney to become the biggest pop star once she went solo. Having long work days and spending hours rehearsing and memorizing songs, both ladies spent their childhood singing, dancing, and learning routines, developing their voices, and above everything, igniting a passion for the performing arts. With Britney, people expected from her, but nobody predicted how big she'd become. At 15, Britney sang a demo tape singing to Whitney Houston that Larry Rudolph, her entertainment manager, sent to Jive Records. This landed her a record deal. She was sent to Sweden to work with producer Max Martin. Everyone knows that Britney's singing voice isn't her regular singing voice. Britney has more of a powerhouse, deep vocals, and they made her switch the baby voice to stand out. And when she released her first single, she had the other girls scrambling. In 1998, Baby One More Time reached #1 on the US Billboard 200 and was certified 2 times platinum by the RIA after a month. The song is deemed a classic. Its impact on pop culture is undeniable, especially for it being her first single. It was a solidification that nobody really saw coming. The music video became somewhat of a pop Bible stamp for teen pop stars and a sex object. And not because she was wearing crop tops, but because she was dressed like a sexy schoolgirl. PG enough to be marketed towards children, but sexy enough to play on fantasy. Everything about that video is memorable, from the way she was singing to dancing in the courtyard to the basketball court. It's been parodied and mimicked. This single, followed by others, became the standard of what a pop princess and others wanted to duplicate, but you can't out-Brit the first. When she performed it, it was captivating and had people engaged. She would pull out of full-fledged performances and have people at awe. Her days at Musketeers really helped her development on stage. Beyonce, in both stages of her life, Destiny's Child, and when she hit her solo career, had amazing stage presence, along with the other DC members. A little known fact that DC was made to excel Beyonce's career, and she's upheld that status. She was the lead and the breakout star that people looked out for and knew was up next. In 1998, their first #1 single from DC was No No No, which whispers classy R&B. The song is slow and sexy. All the girls looked beautiful and embodied a sultry aura that was captivating. They were sex symbols without ever doing too much. Then when the remix dropped, it changed the trajectory of their sound as a bit faster with a singing rapping sound while still keeping their sultry undertones. DC was the group to never have a dull moment with any of their albums or singles. They truly are a solidified group that will forever have reign regardless of the issues that they went through. The star of the group was always Beyonce, and when Beyonce finally went solo, it was very anticipated. Now, what is considered Beyonce's first solo song is up for grabs. Realistically, it should be classified as Workout because it was made for the Austin Powers movie, but no one cares. Her first true solo hit was Crazy in Love, which became a mega success, and a cult classic for memorable music videos. The song instantly went #1 and is considered one of the best debut singles. From her dance moves to her vocal run in the song, it's a staple song. In this case, it was actually expected from her considering she was the star of DC. She undoubtedly set her own standard. Beyoncé has always knew how to capture an audience and valued performing, something both ladies had in common being top performers. Aside from their music, that's really what they're known for. Both ladies put a passion on stage. With each performance, it's a show, a riveting presentation that elevates their superstar. Britney may have been known for lip singing, but her dance skills made up for it. She could put on a show with theatrics, dancing props. She's an entertainer, and you could always see she enjoyed herself on stage. You were entertained, and her shows were always elaborate and had a theme. And Beyoncé has always been a great performer who had the skills to have quality breath control while dancing. Her vocal strength is impeccable, which really set the standard of her being one of the best performers of all time. Her shows are always considered the highlight of the night. Even when she's not doing too much, her elegance and grace draws the crowd in because you know something special is going to happen. You can have Beyoncé on stage in the same outfit with 5 background dancers and you'll be captivated from beginning to end. She puts energy and ego on stage. You hear the breath control, you see the stamina, you feel her energy, which makes it an amazing performance. Both ladies put in time and effort for their shows and are considered great performers for their time. How many people can say that Michael Jackson, the king of pop, liked them as an artist? Michael gave both of them the stamp of approval, but their shows were next level, like they're considered the celebrity because of the quality of their performances and their star power. They enjoy entertaining, and that's an element that also made them stand out from their other counterparts. This level of fame and success is a dramatic jump, and it didn't just affect the ladies, but also their families. Britney unfortunately didn't grow up in the most stable household. While her father was around, he did suffer severely with alcoholism and couldn't keep a job. Unlike Beyoncé's father Matthew, he didn't necessarily care about Britney's career, only how much money she would make. It was Britney's mother Lynn that constantly invested in her and taking her to different places to get discovered while also putting up for the bill. Matthew Knowles saw a vision in his daughter and quit his job for her dreams, leaving his corporate life to train his daughter for success, while Tina continued to work and accommodate for the slash in income. One cared more about the goal while the other only cared about the outcome. This stark difference allowed for a different trajectory on the road and how life would be as a star. It's a known fact that Beyoncé would constantly be around her family during all her tours and photo shoots, during and after Destiny's Child. Her parents were always a step away, and for Britney, it wasn't always like that. She was usually more with her team instead of her family. With success comes problems, sometimes from the ones you're supposed to be closest to, your siblings, especially your sisters. If not done right, will be destined to live in their shadow of their big sister. Britney Spears' sister, as we all know, is Lynn Spears. Although Britney and her sister were seen together for award shows and Britney would visit her on the set of Zoey 101, they weren't super close considering they didn't actually grow up together. Since Britney is 9 years her senior and has been working and being a pop star since the age of 15, Jamie watched her sister grow into a pop idol. Solange dealt the same fate watching Beyoncé grow into a global superstar with Destiny's Child. Both ladies witnessed the growth of their sisters turn into superstars at a young age. This is where the tale begins to drift. According to Tina Knowles, because she watched her mom in her eyes show more love to her brother, she began to feel jealous and less important growing up and didn't want the same fate for Beyoncé and Solange. As Beyoncé focused on her career, she put her daughters in therapy in the beginning of Beyoncé's development so Beyoncé and Solange could grow more sensitive to each other.
Days that I devoted to, on Wednesdays I took off from work and that was Solange's day. And she was a lot younger than Beyoncé. And it was tough because she was 5 years older and Beyoncé was this little superstar in our city. And so I took them to counseling so that very early so that the counselor could help Beyonce be more sensitive to Solange because she couldn't stand her for a minute. You know, when they were little, she was 5, she was all in her stuff. She was trying to hang around her and her friends, and Beyonce was really irritated. But it made her more sensitive to who her sister was and what she had to deal with.
This allowed Solange to grow more within herself and see her own light. If we look at Solange and her career, you can clearly tell that she is her own person with her own personal style. And it doesn't feel like she's in anybody's shadow, especially her sister. Solange has never tried to one-up or emulate Beyoncé. To witness someone like Beyonce become this megastar, it's only normal to feel envious, because realistically a lot of people would. But because Tina showed Solange her own beauty and talent and gave her the reassurance, she never felt like she had to be jealous of Beyonce. Solange has had her own success in her life, beginning from her first debut album, Solo Star, which debuted moderately well in the top 50. And has continued success on her own, starring in multiple hit movies like the Bring It On series with Hayden Panettiere, which is everybody's favorite out the series, and Johnson Family Vacation. Throughout the years, their relationship has never struggled because of success or envy. Solange has her own identity. Based on the way she dresses, styles her hair, she has always danced to the beat of her own drum.
Solange, from a very early age, walked to the beat of her own drum. She doesn't care about anybody, what they think. She's going to do what she feels is right. She will cut her nose off to spite her face, but it's in a good way, because it was what kept her feeling really good about herself. She just didn't care about that, and it didn't affect her as much, because I think she has so much support and so much positive reinforcement from her sister and from us that she just walked to the beat of her own drum, and she's still like that. She's carved out her own niche, and she doesn't care about what anybody else is doing.
Even in music styles, Solange is more neo-soul and funk, and we saw that with her album A Seat at the Table. She's talented. Her album was soft and spoke more to the soul. She got her first Grammy win from the album and has never relied on her sister's name to build her own aura and get people to actually want to listen to her. And that within itself became an interesting parallel between Solange and Jamie. When Solange was creating her first album, she didn't want the help of her sister. She felt like her talent could speak for itself. They've only ever done one song together, and it wasn't even a single. Solange wanted to create for herself. Whereas Jamie lives in the delusion where she believed that she was talented enough to acquire the opportunities she got. Solange can hold her own because Tina knew the detrimental effects of not having that stability within Sisterhood. Their relationship, of course, has problems, but you can see there's genuine love between them and a sense of not just sisterhood, but friendship. With Britney, it was a little different between the dynamics of her and her sister because of the age gap. Considering her sister was already this mega pop star while she was in elementary school, having that famous connection, just like Solange, opens a door for opportunities. And Jamie was starting to find her own footing along the way in acting. She became a Nickelodeon regular on All That and Snick on Air. She left the series once she signed a deal to star in her own series, Zoe 101. Also created by Dan Schneider, who we all know created All That. Zoe 101 was an instant success and became Nickelodeon's most watched show at the time. Jamie, who was the center of the show, faced her own issues on set. Jamie had problems with her co-star Alexa Nicolas, where she claimed that she was bullied on the set of Zoe 101, and one day a producer told her she had to get her makeup done when in fact Britney wanted to talk to her in defense of her sister. When they spoke, Britney yelled at her behind the scenes.
The door gets locked and Britney just starts yelling at me. And she was like 9 months pregnant at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember just like stepping backwards and sitting because I couldn't even believe that Britney Spears was like hated me. You know,
what is she saying? What is she just right off the bat?
Like, yeah, like why are you bullying my sister? And I'm going, bullying you? It was the other way around. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like rubbing her belly and yelling at me. And then she was like, you know, I'm gonna make sure you don't work again. She said
it to you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She's like, you're not gonna work again. Like you're not gonna treat my sister like this. And I'm going, I've never even heard that before. That was the first time I heard the reversal of the roles, you know?
And what do you do? It's her sister. Like she didn't believe her sister.
Of course. And also it's Britney Spears.
Oh
like,
my God.
I am not going to talk back to Britney Spears.
Yeah.
You know? And especially when I was that little.
Although Britney has apologized for this incident, it shows how protective Britney was of Jamie, no matter the circumstance. And unfortunately, that circumstance was at the expense of a 12-year-old girl. Fast forward, Zoey 101 ends following the reveal of Jamie's pregnancy at 16 years old. She decided to take a break from the limelight to raise her daughter, but ultimately losing her fandom overall. The hiatus she took a toll on her image as she wasn't that relevant anymore after Zoey 101. And considering the show's popularity, people blamed her for the cancellation. She tried a hand in country music and Netflix shows, but ultimately it wasn't as successful. The relationship between Jamie and her sister is rocky. Jamie has spoken out about how she always felt like she was in Britney's shadow, which is valid. Britney was huge during every era of her time, but Jamie never fully recovered from not having that level of fame and reaching the peak of success again.
You feel like you're worthless.
It just feels like every time I work really hard to get something of my own, it's like it's not really worth it.
I mean, growing up, my sister became famous, worldwide famous when I was very young.
Your sister did?
Yes.
Right.
And so I'm so proud of her, love her to death, and I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I never really been able to have anything for myself.
Stop beating yourself up.
A lot of people can blame her pregnancy for this stunt in Jamie's career, but ironically, just like how Jamie had her first child at 17, Solange had her first child at 18. Solange has continued to hold relevancy and a sense of identity after her baby was born. Now granted, Jamie may have wanted a quieter life for a while because her family will support her financially regardless. But she also grew into an adult feeling like she wasn't good enough because Britney is her sister. Solange continued to act, sing, get married, and divorce, but has never blamed anyone for her shortcomings. This image that Jamie portrays as a victim of being overshadowed isn't anyone's fault but her own when it comes at the expense of someone else's detriment, because Jamie has never spoken out about Britney's conservatorship, never spoke out about her being harassed by the public, about her getting her kids taken away, her public embarrassment, her sister being labeled as crazy. Nothing. Jamie has never said shit in defense of her sister publicly, and when Britney openly speaks about her abuse, she always mentions her family, never excluding or praising Jamie for what happened to her over the years. Beyonce is never one to speak out or address rumors, but she will check you if you talk about her family. Fabulous talked about writing a lyric in a freestyle that said, "If you could have a Beyonce, would you take a Solange?" that had Beyonce check him.
Solange. There was a rap I said something and I said one of the raps, it was some mixtape kind of freestyle or song or something. I said, if you could have Beyonce, would you take Solange?
I remember that one, yeah.
And
she ran down on you in the elevator.
Nah. Luckily she did run down on me in the elevator, but she the first person I saw was B. And Beyonce was like, yo, let me holler at you. And I'm like,
Beyonce said, let me holler at you?
Yeah. So I was like, yo, so I went over there and hollered. And she was like, yo. Yeah, and she was just telling me that they rock with me.
That.
Okay. They rock with me, and they, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't know what that. And I really didn't even think when I was saying it.
These are real people that you're talking about.
Yeah, I just didn't really connect to it like that. You know what I mean? And you say a lot of things. And punchline-y style is just to say something to be catchy and metaphoric and catch it. But I didn't, see the deeper side of it. And Beyonce, I ain't gonna share the exact conversation, but she showed me, told me like, this is people, like, you know what I mean? Saying something like that could personally hurt her and that kind of. And I say, you know what, I get it. And I say, yo, when I see Solange, that I'll apologize to her. So
did you see her?
I did. I ended up seeing her like after at Soho House one day, and
how long ago?
It was years ago.
Okay.
This even the song was years ago. But I'm saying this is how I realized
I
that.
remember the song.
You know what I mean? So I seen her, so I was like, let me beeline to Solange and apologize. And Solange, she was stiff. I'm like, hey, what's up? She was like, what up?
Why are you talking to me when you could be talking to Beyonce?
And I was like, yo, I didn't mean it in any malice, but I do take responsibility for saying that, and I apologize, and blah, blah. And she was like, all right, thank you.
Yo. Cannot fuck with my sister.
Okay.
I may try to beat your ass.
And that's it. What if
I'm at a concert and I hear some chicks popping off?
I look at how my sister, if someone talks about my sister, I swear to you, I'm ready to fight.
Like, if my sister, if my sister is happy, I'm even more happy. If she's sad.
And we all know the infamous elevator fight between Jay-Z and Solange. Solange was beating the mess out of Jay for allegedly cheating on Beyonce. Regardless, they stand together and never apart and will always have each other's back, even within the family. What Jamie has done behind the scenes as Britney's sister regarding the conservatorship is a tale of sibling rivalry. Instead of having union and being a shoulder to lean on as a sister and help free her sister from the havoc of the people around her, she helped and abided. She was comfortable living off of Britney, taking her beach house, living off her hard work, and benefited from the people thinking Britney was crazy, not realizing what could have benefited her more was being a friend and companion for her sister. Instead of being complacent in her sister's misfortunes, everything in the dark comes to light, and her treatment will bounce back harder than what we're seeing now in the public.
I'm not exaggerating. I felt betrayed by how Jamie Lynn had changed. I'd bought a house for Jamie Lynn to grow up in. She was not exactly grateful for it. She'd later say, "Why'd she get us a house?" Like it was some sort of imposition. But that house had been a gift. I'd bought it because our family had needed a new house, and I'd wanted her to have a better life than I had.
Britney's parents are really interesting individuals. They are a clear tale of parents pimping out their children for money, and the way Britney was allowed to be marketed, labeled, controlled, and milked from her birth givers is a story within itself. From the moment Britney stepped on the scene, one of her marketing tactics was sexualization, as I stated before. PG enough to be marketed towards children, but sultry enough to be a fantasy. You really see it in this 1999 Rolling Stone shoot. The photos were innuendos to play on fantasy. It's revealing and does market her towards that crowd. Britney's parents gave her the green light and never really spoke out about the way they marketed her. During the 90s and 2000s, even now, a girl wearing a crop top isn't really taboo, but it's the way you put things out there that will have people questioning the motives from the way men view you and the children that look up to you. It's a level of protection that was inconsistent in Britney's career. When Destiny's Child was on the rise, Matthew and Tina always made sure to be right behind the girls. No matter who it was in the industry, during the 90s and 2000s era, R. Kelly was the biggest R&B singer out, and the majority of artists have worked with R. Kelly because of his musical talents. Record labels would ask R. Kelly to write songs for emerging artists as a way to help them break into the industry, and he made several attempts to work with Destiny's Child. Matthew and Tina rejected all of them. He did end up writing a song for them for the Life movie soundtrack that they sang, but he wasn't in the studio with them, as Kelly only liked to be in the studio at night, and Matthew and Tina felt like it was inappropriate. They didn't want the girls close to R. Kelly or by themselves anywhere they went. Matthew was quoted saying about the protection of DC, when they went to the bathroom, Tina would go with them. They did not leave our eyes. They took precautionary measures to prioritize the girls' safety above the fame. There was a good chance that if they collabed during the 90s with R. Kelly when they debuted, it was probably gonna be a hit. And even from knowing the power of R. Kelly, they still went against it. DC then and now have never really dived into the scandalous market that wasn't controlled by them. They never pushed themselves further to what wasn't appropriate for themselves. As we all know, Britney has been taken advantage of by her parents with a conservatorship. Jamie is labeled by Britney as controlling, and he began to take over her entire career. I stated earlier that Britney's dad wasn't the most active father due to his alcoholism, but once Britney got famous, he became more involved in the in and outs of her career, and most importantly, her money. He became obsessed with his daughter and wouldn't let her out of his sight or have basic necessities like a phone. He controlled her assets to the point she couldn't even buy shoes for herself and dictated which pills she was taking. Britney's public breakdown due to the lack of privacy she was getting from the paparazzi took a public toll on her. But here's when things got tricky. In the early 2000s, with the rise of Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, the oldest tactic in the book before social media is not only getting spotted by paparazzi, but calling them on yourself. A lot of celebrities would call paparazzi on themselves to get people talking about them, using the paparazzi to maintain their relevancy. Why do you guys think that whenever Beyonce got spotted, it was very rare, especially back then? You don't really have a lot of pictures of Beyonce doing random things in public or getting chased by a soaring paparazzi, but there's tons of Britney. According to The Insider, Britney was just as involved in when and how she was seen. The photographers were called, most of the time by her own people. Unfortunately, in Britney's case, it got out of hand to the point it helped drive her crazy. Even during and after her meltdown, where was her foundation? It's been said that Britney had a hard time trusting the people around her and never felt like she had a genuine safe space. She didn't have many friends who didn't find a way to use or betray her along the lines. She would gravitate towards people that would end up backstabbing her again and again. Her own family seemingly weren't grounding her either, if it involved messing up the money flow. Aside from putting her in rehab, what was her family really doing to help her? We don't know much about the tribulations Beyonce went through, but what we do know was that she was never alone. Beyonce always toured with her family, had vacations, parties, and a shoulder to cry on with her family, and even her closest friends. They would never purposely sell a story or betray that foundation of love, and all these years later, it's the same. We don't know much aside from what they want the public to know, and they barely get spotted. Their personal life isn't our entertainment. Even when Beyonce fired Matthew as her manager for stealing money. In the petition, Matthew Knowles claimed that Live Nation accused him of stealing money from Beyonce's last tour after he failed to secure the rights to her world tour. Following these allegations, Beyonce's legal team conducted an audit which reportedly found evidence of misappropriation, and Matthew was fired, and both parties signed a confidentiality agreement. Neither Beyonce nor Matthew ever publicly denounced one another. It was always graced with respect. Britney's family has been riding the coattails of Britney's name to anyone that will listen for a quick check, choosing outside people over your own family. And an ex who is spiteful and would go out their way to embarrass you on social media using your own children.
Britney Spears' ex-husband Kevin Federline is sharing his receipts, posting videos of her arguing with their two sons, Jaden James and Sean Preston.
You all need to start treating me like a woman with worth. I am a woman, okay? Be nice to me. Do you understand?
Yeah. The former dancer shared two old videos on Instagram Wednesday night. The first featuring Britt having a word with the boys at her home.
This is my house. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
Yeah. Then we see Britt upset with her eldest son for not wearing shoes inside a store and disciplining him by taking away his phone.
Have you lost your mind? I do care, but I'm shocked as with you, and I don't know what to do, and I'm scared of you because you're weird, because you're going through puberty. I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's big feet, size 13 now?
Well, he's my brother.
And all the more exposed, his feet, your blood in an ice cream shop in Alaska weather. Don't you think that's a little odd?
No.
Yeah, I think your phone should be gone.
Kevin since deleted both videos, but in the caption, he explained why he felt the need to share. I cannot sit back and let my sons be accused in this way after what they've been through. As much as it hurts us, we've decided as a family to post these videos the boys took when they were 11 and 12. This isn't even the worst of it. The lies have to stop. I hope our kids grow up to be better than this. #NeverFearTruth.
From the books that were released to the inside sources and her conservatorship, they haven't been a safe space for Britney to feel secure. Even her ex-husband Kevin, in regards to her children, again, it doesn't seem like genuine love or care. Everyone in Britney's life has used her as a cash cow to fund their own needs. From the moment the conservatorship started, nobody had Britney's best interests at heart. The conservatorship apparently started because Britney's father, like Beyonce's father, stole money from her. Allegedly $40,000. So because Britney demanded the money back, his retaliation was to get in touch with Lou Taylor, and then the downward spiral for Britney's life begins.
What they don't know about Jamie and Lynn Spears is that every day Jamie goes to work as a professional chef, asking the Lord to give him the strength to honor the people he works for in the midst of circumstances. That Lynn Spears is a mother that is brokenhearted just because she's apart from her daughter, that she loves her daughter so much, and again, asking every day for God to give her strength and for her to continue to have hope. I mean, I'm so disturbed, Meredith, where we've gotten to be as a people, the morbidity of us watching the depravity of people suffering than to rally around and be hopeful. So really, I guess for me to be self-indulgent for a moment, that I would really hope that all those who seek God for strength in their life would be interceding for this family, because Jamie Spears, Lynn Spears, Brian, and Jamie Lynn Spears are all amazing people.
Lou Taylor with
Where's the car? Where's the car? Good luck, good luck with your life. Get off the car.
You're right. And like my management totally knew what they were doing when they sent me to rehab. So right, you know, and it just like, I'm just gonna cry right now because like the world is so nice. Like this lady, she told me, she said, Brittany, go to the light. Go to the light and see Jesus, okay? And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And it happened. And it's just so weird because our world is so nice. So thank you so much.
You're so nice always, Brittany.
Work two? Two is her birthday. Is she going to be okay working on her birthday?
Sure. What do you want her to play?
No, I mean, can she rehearse on her birthday?
She's gonna rehearse.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
When it came to everybody getting paid, they worked Britney like a dog. It was from Britney's pocket. When it came to legal fees, forced rehabilitation, cars, drugs, even basic living, everybody benefited from Britney's bank account. Her dad, who felt the need to control her every move, he would weaponize her own children against her if she didn't do what he said. Her mom, who was supposedly initially against the conservatorship, but never fought for her freedom.
Britney Spears' legal case. Is she going after her mom?
She tunes me out. No, I don't tune you out. You do too. Say, look, say.
Quote, she secretly ruined my life. That's from Brit's now deleted post where she claims that while Dad Jamie started the conservatorship, it was orchestrated through Lynn Spears. My mom is the one who gave him the idea. My dad is not smart enough to ever think of a conservatorship.
You even said the fact that she was even in the hospital was not something that you
had orchestrated.
No.
It was a shock. You know, I mean, how did this happen?
And her sister, who feels like she's owed something from being in Britney's shadow. Lou Taylor had no business being a part of Britney's family and estates. She shouldn't have gotten this close to Britney's assets, and the fact that this was allowed for so long is despicable. And it shows the lack of care her family had for her.
How dare you, Mr. Spears? You had me fooled. And you too, Mrs. Spears. Death to all of them.
They didn't care about what Britney was going through as long as they controlled the money, spending weeks planning the conservatorship to blindside Britney and spending millions to maintain it. You heard that? Millions to maintain it. Allowing the world to believe she was crazy in her personal life, but not crazy in her work life.
Control he had over someone as powerful as me, as he loved the control to hurt his own daughter 100,000%. He loved it. I packed my bags and went to that place. I worked 7 days a week, no days off, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called trafficking. Making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport card, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, the 24/7 security. There was one chef that came there and cooked for me daily during the weekdays. They watched me changed every day, naked, morning, noon, and night. My body, I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 gallons of blood a week. If I didn't do any of my meetings and work from 8 to 6 at night, which is 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, I wouldn't be able to see my kids or my boyfriend. I never had a say in my schedule. They always told me I had to do this. And ma'am, I will tell you, sitting in a chair 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, it ain't fun. And especially when you can't walk out the front door. And that's why I'm telling you this again 2 years later. After I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy, it's a lie. I thought I said that enough. Maybe I might become happy because I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. You know, fake it till you make it. But now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry, it's insane, and I'm depressed. I cry every day, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't think how the state of California can have all this written in the court documents from the time I showed up and do absolutely nothing, just hire with my money another person to keep my dad on board. I just want my life back, and it's been 13 years, and it's enough. It's been a long time since I've owned my money, and it's my wish and my dream for all of this to end without being tested. Again, it makes no sense whatsoever for the state of California to sit back and literally watch me with their own two eyes make a living for so many people and pay so many people trucks and buses on tour on the road with me and be told I'm not good enough. But I'm great at what I do. And I allow these people to control what I do, ma'am, and it's enough. It makes no sense at all.
Continuing to be allowed to work, to be put on full display in public during X Factor and her Vegas residency for years, while being carefully watched and pumped with drugs. All while her parents continued to live off of her hard work, while her voice for so long was deemed irrelevant. Nobody cared how depressed she was as long as she was able to work. She was good enough to be around people, judge and perform, while everyone who worked with her said she seemed fine and she was always super nice. The one thing that has always graced the two beautiful pop stars is that everyone has always said they were kind people, and they've always portrayed themselves as humble and sweet. Except one learned to use their voice early on while the other was punished for it. What happened with Britney is at the expense of her vicious family and not having a stable foundation to protect her. It took her fans to garner enough attention to free her from the conservatorship. Her fans protested and rallied behind her freedom while her family did press interviews to save face as to why they never spoke up. If it wasn't for her fans, Britney would still be controlled by the very same family that claims they love her. Spending over a decade in a conservatorship, they would have never let her go. Britney, although dealt with problems, and never had to get this bad. The Britney we see now isn't supposed to be this way, and I say that with the most respect. Her family truly ruined her. The way she looks and behaves on social media doesn't seem normal, and it's obvious she's not mentally there. It seems like Britney is somewhat living in the past in these videos. She grew up on the attention she got and misses it, and the way she dresses isn't that far-fetched from her younger years. I think she genuinely is just having fun, and the way she moves seems like she's recreating the old Britney. That was the happy Britney. She was passionate for dancing, and it will always be what she loves, but we can't blame her knowing the history to how she got there. Britney had the undeniable potential to continue to be one of the best pop stars to ever live. And sadly, that fate has been halted by the actions of the people around her. She deserves so much more from what she dealt with, and I hope she finally continues to live her life freely and reconnect with her sons. And I'm not saying Beyonce is perfect. Nobody's perfect, but she's okay. She has always had her family beside her that protected her even from the man she loved. And even he has had a turnaround for the sake of his family. She was able to continue and grow as an artist and become one of the greatest performers to ever live. A fate that was destined all because she had a foundation. She's able to relish in her passion while the people around her have their own purpose and are able to be happy for her. Britney and Beyonce considerably are one and the same. This is a tale of two pop stars with similar parallels, sealed with a fate that was made and a fate that was broken. Well, that concludes today's longevity video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you think down below. Toodles!